Okay, I'm sorry I have to do this in this room again, but I do know that I can only use the top part of the board, so hopefully my next videos will be in a different building where I can set up the recorder better. It's just that the weather and the time hasn't permitted me. I'm also going to try to separate this into sections better so that the videos aren't as long, because they took forever. That last one took a really long time to upload. So right now I'm going to do 1.5, which is about multiplying whole numbers and the area. So when multiplying, we know what we have the property of 0. And that just means that when we multiply 0 by anything, we get 0. So if we have 8 times 0, that's 0. 0 times 3 equals 0. It doesn't matter which order you do it. And then we have, property of 1. So that means 1 times anything equals that anything. So like 1 times 3 equals 3, or 4 times 1 equals 4. Just like in addition, we have the commutative property. And that means it doesn't matter what order we multiply our numbers in. So if we have 3 times 6, that equals 18. 6 times 3 equals 18. Just like we saw with the property of 0 and property of 1, it doesn't matter what order you multiply anything in, you're still going to get the same answer. That's really useful when, especially on the tests, because since you're not allowed to use a calculator, if you have 3 numbers that you have to multiply, something like, actually no, for the associative is what this will be. So for the associative, it doesn't matter what order you multiply. So if we have 2 times 7 in parentheses times 3, that's the same as if we have 2 times in parentheses 7 times 3. So if it's easier for you to multiply 2 times 7 to get 14 and then 3, or if you want to multiply 7 times 3, which is 21, times 2, which is 42, or you can even say 2 times 3 first and then 7. So you get 2 times 3, which is 6, times 7 equals 42. It doesn't matter what order you do it in whatever makes it easier, especially when you have to do it on paper. The other property is the distributive property. And that means that if we have 2 times, say, 6 plus 2, we can multiply 2 times 6 plus 2 times 2 to get 12 plus 4, which equals 16. You're mainly going to be using that when you have an X in there, because you can just as easily say 6 plus 2 is 8 and then times 2, which is actually the better way of doing that. So if we have a larger numbers, say we have 306 times 81. The first thing you're going to do is multiply 1 times everything, and you're going to go from right to left. So 1 times 6 is 6, 1 times 0 is 0, 1 times 3 is 3. Then you're going to put a 0 as a placeholder, and you're going to multiply everything with the 8. 8 times 6 is 48. Carry the 4. 8 times 0 is 0, plus 4 is 4. And 8 times 3 is 24. Then you add everything. This is 6, 8, 7, 4, 2, and that would be the answer. The last thing that's in this chapter is an area of a rectangle. So that's area equals length times width. And if we draw a rectangle and say this is a 3 and this is a 4, the area, which is all of this, is 3 times 4, which is 12. And it's going to be in square units. And by units, that can be square meters, square feet, square inches, whatever it is they have. So that's the end of 1.5.